participants, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the Sisterly Federal Republic of Nigeria and the UN Office for Counter-Terrorism for convening this high-level event to discuss an issue of vital importance to all of us gathered here today. I am very pleased to be part of this collective endeavor and to be able to share with you some views and thoughts from the African Union champion on preventing and combating terrorism and violent extremism in Africa, His Excellency President Abdelmajid Tebboune. Let me be clear from the outset. Terrorism has become the threat number one to peace and security in Africa. Recent developments clearly demonstrated that while this threat has substantially declined in other parts of the world, it has exponentially increased in our continent and especially in the Sahel region. I would like to particularly focus on this region as it has become the most impacted and the global epicenter of the scourge of terrorism. Only in 2022, it has registered more than 43% of global terrorism deaths. Countries and peoples of the Sahel region are facing terrorist groups that are considered among the fastest growing and most deadly worldwide. Groups that are heavily armed and equipped with sophisticated weaponry. Groups that have expanded their control over huge geographical areas where they act as the de facto local authorities, and armed groups that are capable of displaying incredibly skillful military strategies. And this is new. To keep it short, in Algeria, we have ceased using the appellation of terrorist groups to describe what could be more accurately and realistically designated as terrorist armies. Mr. Chair, in facing this alarming situation, we believe that priority should be given to addressing the breeding ground that triggered and nurtured the expansion of these mounting threats. The Sahel region, which faces complex development challenges, being one of the poorest in the world, has recently become like an arc of fire that stretches from the Red Sea to the Atlantic Ocean, an area that is currently home to the heaviest concentration of armed conflicts and crisis situations that continue to inflict unbearable sufferings on the civilian populations. In addition to these factors, the resurgence of the phenomenon of institutional change of governments has further complicated the situation in terms of weakening public institutions, aggravating the already precarious security landscape, and adding more and more burdens and hurdles to the already fragile economic development. Against this background, the upcoming summit in Abuja should serve to sound loudly the alarm about the critical situation created by the expansion of the terrorist threat in Africa. It should aim to revive the global interest and reignite the international momentum in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. with the participation of all member states of the African Union. We need to make our case clear. What Africa is facing is not a local threat. It is rather a global threat, a threat that knows no border or nationality, a threat to which no one could be considered as immune. Drawing from its bitter but successful experience in the fight against this scourge, Algeria firmly believes that the two-legged approach is badly needed to address both the manifestations of terrorism and its root causes in the Sahel region and beyond. Development and security responses must go on par to ensure that we collectively address the issue at hand in a global, coherent, and comprehensive manner. In this regard, Algeria has called for an international conference on the development in the Sahel, as well as for the creation of a new model of peace operations that is more fit for counter-terrorism context. In facing an evolving threat, we certainly need a new approach, a new commitment, and a bold engagement. Business as usual is no longer an option, nor a convenient position. Let me conclude by reiterating our firm conviction that time is of utmost essence. If nothing is done now, the threat of this scourge and its implications will be awfully felt far beyond the region and the African continent. Thank you very much.